throughout, if not then picked up by either team.
Yeah, the Idris ban as well is very, very common to see something like that. I think they really want to just not play against it because Idris is a very strong pick. And now we're seeing a first pick on Grace. We saw Grace banned away in the previous game and just not picked at all in the very first game. So they're very different between these two teams, between the 8 teams in SEA. J3X has gone, right, if you're going to let us pick it, we're going to go straight for the Grace. And of course, Infamous respond with the Lance. That was most likely Captain, but as we know, it could be Weapon. And now Crawl is quite a common ban, maybe a Glaive, just to try. Infamous do like to ban Glaive, just to get it off the fold.
Yep, Glaive would be a good ban at this point in time. But the Lance pickup coming out from the side of Infamous, as we said earlier on, we have seen an emergence in Lance for 2.8, whereas for Grace, she has kind of faded out in terms of meta, in Southeast Asia at least. But I'm not surprised actually, because with that Sky being banned out, J3X Inferno will ban out maybe like, say, a Scarf, or even one of the majors, if not then Castro, and then pick up a Grace for themselves, because Grace and Glaive just work so well together.
Yeah, the cool ban actually was from J3X this time. So Glaive is left open for Infamous if they want to pick it with Lance. That could work really well. And of course, as you said, a mage like Celeste or Scarf could be, yeah, Glaive's the most likely decision, and they are going to go for it. So now J3X could respond to this. There's a lot of dive, a lot of CC that Infamous have picked up. Obviously, counter to that is Black Feather, that they banned it away themselves. They're going to have to go, maybe I could see a Gwen with that Skedaddle to try and stop those impales being too deadly and being chained into an afterburn, and then you're going to get bursted down very quickly. So we could see that in the lane, but it's most likely to be, okay, they're going to go Vox, and then Celeste is still open. That would still be a good pick, but they might want to go for more dive with Disgrace. So maybe a Taka. Yep,
Taka would be a good pickup, but we've seen as well in the previous week Reza. Granted, yep, I know the viewers will probably be raging at this point in time because a caster actually said Reza. I mean, Taka is definitely on the table, but Reza, we saw Impunity picking it up. Granted, it wasn't exactly an easy game for Impunity when they picked up that Reza, but I think Reza just synergized a little better with Grace as compared to the other captains, because for Reza you want to dive really, really deep, and of course you have invulnerability period as well with your Netherform detonator, and the amount of damage you put out in the early game, if you can sustain, which Grace can actually help you with, is definitely just immense. However, the side of J3X Inferno, they will go for the safe pick. They will pick up that of Celeste, even though Infamous has got a Glaive in their hands.
Yeah, Celeste is a bit risky. They've got a lot of squishy heroes with double dive already picked up from Infamous, and they're going to go Scarf, and since those 3 heroes don't really synergize very well. Glaive and Lance are very engage heavy, and Scarf's a backline mage to the poke. But the reason they picked Scarf is because there isn't that much CC. The Grace Holy Nova is quite easy to just dodge, and the Core Collapse obviously is going to be blocked by Scarf himself. And so Scarf, really, the Dragon's Breath isn't going to be cancelled by anything. Scarf v Celeste is very even, and we could even see a lane Glaive or a jungle Glaive. What do you expect? Do you think they're going to push that Glaive into lane to try and counter Vox, or maybe they'll just keep Glaive in jungle and have Scarf to try and poke Vox?
Coming from history, and history definitely will repeat itself, we will probably see Chingy on that Glaive, and then of course we have Spaghetti on that Scar being in lane. If that is the case, then definitely Infamous will have the better early game and easier early game as well. And on top of that as well, Scarf has got greater poke as compared to Celeste pre-level 8. So that is one thing that maybe J3X Inferno has to keep in mind if they come up for an engage of sorts. Even then, Grace very good with, just the early game. Grace is very good with very early game ganks because of your Benediction and your ability to just dive into the back lines, even with Lance just supporting that of Scarf. But with that, you put yourself in a very vulnerable position. And with that, Scarf, granted, can just burn you down immediately if you dive in too deep. So it is just down to execution, and if execution-wise, we cannot deny that Infamous is just so much better, both mechanically in terms of macros and micros.
Yeah, definitely. Infamous do seem to be the stronger team, and so I think their Scarf play is going to be extremely strong, and I think they're going to be able to probably outpoke the Celeste. And then definitely it's down to Nibim, down to Baby to see if they can land the poke, because Vox obviously will be able to poke better than Glaive, obviously with a little bit of range.
Okay. So seeing the lineup coming out from Infamous, we have a weapon lot. So there you have it.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, what is Shingy going to captain? Shingy has picked up the Lance and Uni has picked up the Glaive. So we're actually going to see a lone Glaive and a weapon Lance. This is really smart from Infamous, because Vox is now going to be a jungle Lance, like almost certainly, because Shingy's a jungler. And this means that the ganks are going to be a lot easier to execute, because Uni will be the first with the afterburn to put Vox out of position. Then he can Sonic Zoom to try and run away, but the Impale will then almost guarantee to connect. Kahlua on the Grace is going to have not much to keep this Vox alive. So Shingy's really going to try and follow in the first game. It's going to be Shingy on the captain position. Shingy's picked up a protector contract. We're now loading into the Halcyon Fold, and it's crazy to see that Shingy's decided, my Glaive's amazing, but I think Uni's probably better.
Well, this is quite a turnaround for me. I mean, granted, Uni has been a starter. He has been a carry for the side of Infamous, but because of how things have changed, in Split 1 itself, I just thought that, Chingy would just be on the Glaive and Uni would just settle for the captain role. But we are going to see them just going to settle on the respective roles pre-merge. So as the viewers that do not know, Infamous actually merged with Popeyes, and thus you see, a few Popeyes players in Infamous, and there you have it. But honestly, if you were to ask me, I think the merge is very clever, and it just covers up weakness that Infamous once had. So all in all, Kahlua going into lane.
We're going to Nibim Bim though, who's taking so much damage. There's the Impale, and the core clap land on Spaghetti, keeping Nibim Bim alive, but Shingy may not be able to survive. He will, just barely. And it looked like that was a good engage from J3X Inferno, but in the end, it was turned around by Infamous, and that's going to be the Impale landing onto Baby. There's the Holy Nova, actually completely misses anything. So now Baby's going to use the healing flask to try and stay alive. Uni without boots is going to be able to get one basic, not quite able to chase down Baby. With the Sonic Zoom, going to be able to get away. And now Glaive wants to screw this Elder Tree and will easily be able to screw so. Spaghetti probably going to push his wave in a little bit and then rotate to take the back to the Glaive.
Yep, very smart play early on. A lot of early aggression coming out from Infamous so far. I mean, granted, all in all, they have a much more stronger comp in terms of rotations throughout. But I wasn't expecting, I mean, this is very like Infamous. Infamous has been known to be just so very aggressive in that an early game, just try to push as much advantage as they possibly can. But even then, with this amount of aggression, I think it is just subsidized by the fact that, J3X Inferno was just so haphazard with how they were positioned just now, allowing Chingy to actually land two roots, two impales, and on top of that as well, if Chingy had the Keaton wall, definitely it would be a secured kill for the side of Infamous in this early game.
Yeah, and Spaghetti, they're actually deciding to just hyper farm this Scarf. Shingy out of position, but he's going to push Kahlua out of the Holy Nova, still going to get some of the core collapse, and Shingy able to get away. Uni going in onto Baby, taking a lot of damage, but Hidden Flask will keep him, the Protector contract from Kahlua is what kept him nice and alive. But Shingy is quite low, but Infamous still deciding to go for this Elder Tree, and we'll be able to get it. Spaghetti actually secures that. And Uni did get it instead, so that's good to keep him healthy. But they are definitely hyper farming Spaghetti. He's taking almost all of the jungle and then trying to rotate up to his lane. This is really interesting that Uni's going to be more of a peel for Spaghetti, and they just want to hyper farm Scarf to get to the point where he outdamages Nibim Bim Celeste.
Yep, and we've seen this as well coming out from Infamous in the previous week. But then Spaghetti, Kahlua.
Yeah, just going to do a little bit of poke on Spaghetti. Nibim Bim now does come up to lane with those Helios. Impale lands onto Kahlua, but so the core collapse actually does just barely miss onto Shingy. And now Spaghetti's going to try and farm this wave under the turret. Going to miss one minion, it's not too bad, but it's good from J3X Inferno pushing the wave up. And they're in a good position to try and siege this turret down. if they just block the Spitfire from Scarf, then there's really no damage on those minions. And Impale does land, Spitfire onto Baby, so is the Goop. He's going to Sonic Zoom out of it, so not too much from J3X. And they're now going to rotate towards the jungle of Infamous, going to take away the mid-treant. But Infamous, in return, push their own turret, and the Impale does land, not quite onto Baby, but onto Kahlua. Nice stun, but the Spitfire does not quite land, and now Infamous going to back off. Spaghetti can pick up the Frostburn.
Yep, and this is we saw this as well in that last week when Spaghetti was hyper farmed by Chingy, so much so that but Spaghetti then was on the Celeste, and we all know for a fact that Spaghetti is just gruesomely good on that Celeste, and there was really no chance for the other team. They spotted out a little too late and just tried to hyper farm the carry as well, but it was just a tad too late. But however,
Baby gonna get impaled up, and the Goop does not get ignited, so that won't be too much damage onto Baby. Minion Candy was used by Nibin Bim to try and push this wave into the turret of Infamous, and it will be very successful. That wave is far under the turret, so Spaghetti is unable to really poke, but he's going to go in now onto Baby. Dodges out the impalement. It's not enough. First blood goes to Dave. Second blood will go to the Grace, getting the return kill. And now Spaghetti trying to do the work he can. Level 6. I've been using Healing Flask to keep himself topped up on energy. Able to throw those Helios down. He's still only level 6, so the poke is much more in Scarf's favour at this point. And yeah, Spaghetti happy to just back off after his team secured the first blood, and not too much turret damage on either side. Just both teams going to back off.
Yep, all in all, I think in the late game itself, we saw how Uni has to dive into the back lines, and without that first turret down, without that extra map control that Infamous can possibly have, had they just went on with their siege earlier on, then Spaghetti would have a hard time going up against Nibin Bim on the Celeste. We all know Nibin Bim, or rather Celeste itself, is really good when she reaches level 8. And one thing more, it's that once Celeste has got her items and has got stuns available to her, that will be...
Yeah, Kahlua going to be out of position here. He's going to use the triple Holy Nova. Does quite connect before the Githian will knock back, and wait for it. Does go down. Core Collapse doesn't quite land on Shiggy. Going to use the Healing Flask to keep himself alive. Spaghetti taking a little bit of poke from that Vox Sonic Zoom. And now J3X are in a really good position to try and seize this turret. Scarf doing our best to try and kill the minions, and that is a great Goop Spitfire combo. So the turret siege is just not going to be there for J3X. There's almost no time for them to try and seize that turret. Double Impale, double Githian Wall. The Goop's not quite there, but that is a lovely afterburn onto Baby. He's going to take a lot of damage. Blood Song does not quite pick up the kill, but Scarf is able to get Kahlua on the back line. And one more basic onto Baby. Not quite able to secure the kill. So he's going to have to put home. Nibin Bim now trying to defend this turret. That's very risky. Glaive afterburn in 5 seconds. Lance Impale is already up. Nibin Bim is playing it very risky. Impale does land. That's going to be one more basic attack from anyone. Probably pick up Nibin Bim. But the turret will fall, and Celeste stays alive. Infamous still ahead. B-side, as always, are ahead, but it is not a flawless game. Both teams have lost a death. Baby able to secure the healing trait away from Uni. Uni forced to use the healing flask before he goes to shot, pick up a block, and actually work towards Poison Shiv as opposed to getting the block. Interesting.
Yep, and we saw this coming out from Infamous before when Chingy was on this glaive, and the amount of damage that Chingy can put out with just a tension bow and a poison shiv is just insane. And on top of that as well, with the poison shiv, it kind of just syncs well with Blood Song, right? You have an extra sustain, and with your every basic attack, when you build up your Blood Song stacks, you have, sustain as well. On top of that, with Grace on the line, having the poison shiv and an extra mortal wound will definitely do your team just a little more good as compared to, say, going for the not Shatter Glass, or rather Sorrow Blade into the tension bow, or tension bow into that Sorrow Blade.
Yeah, so Spaghetti trying to farm this wave up, and J3X trying to push the wave. Nibin Bim is now level 8. This is a really good time for them to either siege, force a fight, or try and force an objective. They are most likely to win, especially with an infusion on Nibin Bim, and Baby able to pick up a full Sorrow Blade. This is a really good time for J3X. They look like they do want to go in a little bit aggressive. Baby almost face checking, but a good flare. Bots out Shingy. Looks like Uni's just going to rotate the shop, and he now can complete his full poison shifts. That's really good timing for Infamous. It was J3X that managed to pick up their tier 3s, so Infamous able to pick it up at the same time. Shingy, though, could be out of position, but he could be able to get away. A bit of damage from Vox, but now Uni is up in lane, trying to get a good afterburn. He's going to go forwards, standing on the Helio, but Celeste is too far back to be able to make it go Supernova. And now there's just a bit more wave clear. Both teams trying to poke out. Spaghetti is landing more than Celeste is. Glaive's going to rotate to the jungle, so Infamous aren't going to fight, but they could be caught out. Goop is very preemptive to try and clear this wave. I think he'll still be able to do so. And yeah, he's just going to light the Goop to clear the wave and then rotate to the backs. Maybe no, he's not going to be able to get there. It's far too aggressive from J3X if Spaghetti wanted to rotate down. It's really smart to stop the hyper farm. It's just force him to stay in lane. There's an impale. Does land to Nibim. That could be the engage. Boots used by Nibim. Uni's just standing there. Go in with the afterburn Uni. There we go. Onto Baby. There's the holy divine intervention from Baby. Onto Baby, sorry, from Kahlua, and wait for it to come through, but was not needed. Celeste with the Solar Storm, able to pick up Glaive, and Uni was just a little bit too aggressive without using the afterburn. He just kind of stood there, not doing much, and this is easy tier 1 turret for J3X in return.
Yep, and that is really the problem that we are seeing right now. It's that, you know, Uni and Chingy really has to play in sync at this point in time, just chain all the CCs together. But what happened then is that if just looking at what Nibim is building, Nibim has got a Frostburn, did not go for the Eve of Harm as a second item pickup, immediately just went onto Dead of Clockwork. So that is definitely one thing. And you pointed out one just now earlier on that Nibim has got more stars and a lot more poke as compared to Spaghetti. And that is really just the nature of Celeste. Celeste, and what differentiates, you know, these two mages is just that Spaghetti's poke, you know, granted, you know, Spitfire has got a 1-ish second cooldown, but what Nibim can do is just place landmines, whereas, you know, Spaghetti's Spitfire, it goes out of him and it just disappears afterwards, and the next Spitfire do not have a supernova effect like that of Heliogenesis coming out from Celeste. So that is one thing that, you know, Infamous have to watch out for and has to be really decisive of which fights to pick up.
There's going to be the engage from Shingy. Impale does land. Core clap does not quite stop. There's Uni going in to get now with him on the back line, and now there's a lot of damage onto the Lura. Forced to use the Crucible, and Divine Intervention Fountain still up. So this is good for J3X. Fountain forced to be used by Shingy to keep himself alive. Shingy able to back away. Divine Intervention actually used on Vox already, and the Fountain. Uni afterburn. That's a great timing, but the Spitfire doesn't quite land. Goop will though, and Shingy does trade his life for Baby. Uni afterburn in 6 seconds. Spaghetti gonna go in very aggressive. Does land the Goop though, so that will be a kill onto Nibim. Now Baby, what are you going? Kahlua is going to try and run away. Uni is going to try and chase the afterburn. Probably is going to be able to pick up the kill, and that is a double for Glaive and an ace for Infamous. Will probably be a gold mine and probably not a turret.
Yeah, probably not a turret at this point in time. I mean, Infamous, the gold mine definitely is worth more at this point in time as compared to the tier 2 turret. The tier 2 turret provides with 300 gold, so very good decision making coming out from Infamous, not trying to push that turret, and with that very low cooldown timers, all in all, definitely it will be in favor of Infamous. And there is one thing that I want to point out as well, it's that we saw this. As long as Infamous, they are very decisive with the team fights, goes in, you know, just pick out the target and concentrate on the target, then definitely they will have the upper hand. Whereas if they are going to just dilly-dally and just pussy feed into the team fights, then, you know, the poke coming out from Nibim and of course Baby on that Fox as well will out-sustain or rather out-damage the amount of poke and damage coming out from the side of Infamous.
Yeah, Infamous really need to be the first team going in. They can't let themselves just keep getting poked out. But Baby's taking a lot of poke from Spaghetti, and that will be a great afterburn and an easy kill onto Nibim. No Fountain, no Crucible, no nothing from Kahlua to try and keep him alive, and that will be the nice Fountain and the nice Intervention to keep Baby alive. But it's not going to be too effective, given that Baby's taking these 8 broken mid-stack Spitfires from Spaghetti, and now J3X look like they are going to be able to defend this turret. Kahlua tanking up the Spitfires, but maybe not. Uni actually going to afterburn Kahlua out of position, and he's going to fall. That will be another kill, and possibly the turret. Yeah, the minions are there. That will be an easy turret for Infamous. Maybe going to try and defend the Solar Storm a little bit late to try and pick up Uni. Uni actually could be a bit out of position. The Sentry is there, and so is Nibim. I'm going to go aggressive, but Spaghetti is going to be able to get the tree, do a bit of poke, and Uni will be able to get away. So, not too much, but I hold that thought. Spaghetti's taking a lot of damage, but so is Nibim. Afterburn comes through. Baby's going to take a lot of damage as well, but he does manage to get the kill on to Spaghetti. Baby not able to kite away. Kahlua was up, so he's not an ace. But lots of kills in a row for him.
Lots of kills. I mean, not only for Infamous, but traded throughout the board. But Infamous being so objective, controlling, and just so well with how they are going to plot their objective and the way they are taking it. So they are going to go for the gold mine. Hopefully it will not be stolen by Kahlua on that. Grays have got a very good ability, good abilities to actually go in for the gold mine, but Kahlua just taking a tad too much damage to actually try to steal her. Solar Storm comes out, but just helps Infamous clear that gold mine a little fast.
Little bit early on the Solar Storm, but Kahlua had to back off, couldn't provide any vision. So Nabim doing his best to try and steal that away. Yeah, not quite able to do so. Spaghetti, 175 CS. Now he's going to get this twin, and that is a very good position to be in. He's got his boots, he's got his infusion. No, he hasn't got an infusion actually. He picked up tier 2 boots instead. So this is really a good time for Infamous to fight, because the later on they go, if they get to around 16 minutes, Scarp is going to be completely fully built and just accumulating useless gold. At which point Uni's going to have to be trying to take all the lane farm. And so Infamous are really this is the point where the hyper carry comp comes through. They're about 4k gold ahead. Spaghetti's infused, fully built in terms of damage and defense. Just needs to pick up some boots, and they are going to go in. Shingy is going to be the front line, waiting for the impale. It does land on Baby. He slowly zooms away, and the core collapse does land on to Shingy. Teams are swapped sides. This is a bit interesting. Which team's going to be the first to back off? And Uni's going to take the Helio Supernova and another Helio, but going to be able to get away from that. And now Nabim does not have any Broken Myth to try and stack up, whereas Spaghetti is stacking up, but they have now fallen off. There's going to be Super Helio landing, and both teams just trying to poke the group a bit too preemptive. Baby is waiting, but he walks into the Spitfire, and now Infamous are going to be the ones to back off. Are they going to be able to get to their side of the map? Probably not. J3X are in a terrible position. If they fight now, they have to back off either to Sentry or to Turret, and they are going to fight. They can do a lot of damage actually. Going to go in again. They're afterward pushing Shingy away. That's pushing Nabim away. That's not what you want. Shingy taking the brunt of the suit of the Solar Storm from Celeste. Impale does miss. That should be a kill. No, great crucible by Shingy to keep himself alive through the Supernova. Afterward does land is blocked by Nabim, and there's the Dragon's Breath being done. He blocks the core collapse. He's going to shred through the whole of the team. Spaghetti with the Dragon's Breath, 9 Broken Myth stacks, triple kill, and the ace.
That is the first ace of the game, if I remember correctly, and I guess hyper farming Spaghetti works every single game, whether or not Spaghetti is as a Celeste, if not then as the little firecracker dragon that he is on at this point in time. So honestly, at the point in time, I really thought that Infamous would have would lose that team fight, because what happened then was Chingy and Uni just took a little too much unnecessary damage in that of lane. So when they actually moved down into the jungle to try to team fight, they were at about 3/4, if not then half health, and thus Chingy actually fell first. And I thought Juni would be next, and then immediately the entirety of J3X Inferno can just jump onto Spaghetti, but Spaghetti's Dragon's Breath just did so much damage, shred through the entirety of J3X Inferno, and honestly they had got nothing whatsoever on Spaghetti on this Firecracker Dragon.
Yeah. This is what I was talking about earlier on, with Spaghetti having that Dragon's Breath. He has to dodge the Holy Nova and block Core Collapse, and that's it. He dodged the Holy Nova, then he blocked the Core Collapse, and he just shredded with that Dragon's Breath with 9 Broken Myth stacks. Really nothing that Nabim can do against that, because he hasn't got a Broken Myth. Maybe going to get impaled, but Scarf's just trying to push this turret. That is Divine Intervention used already, and the Echo used by Kahlua to try and keep that Divine Intervention up again for the next team fight. Spaghetti getting no poke onto the turret. Kahlua has to force bounce on himself. Here's Spaghetti coming in with the Dragon's Breath. Not actually going to get onto any of the members. Now he's going on to Baby. Focus on the Vein Crystal now. Uni going to do a lot of damage. So is Spaghetti, and that will be game 1 going to Infamous.
Well, that is very expected. I mean, not exactly the cleanest performance coming out from Infamous as compared to the other teams that we've seen so far. But all in all, very well played coming out from both teams, especially since Chingy actually took out their role, or rather did not just go on the jungler role and just settled for the roamer. So the setup Infamous do not have the dedicated roamer, but all in all, still very mechanically strong coming out from Infamous, and thus they can just clear out this